I was 31 and I knew I needed more. I didn't feel like my true self. I had to take a deeper look at what my life was and what do I see for myself and who do I know that I am. I am Saint and I'm 1 month into my transition. I am Saint and I am 2 months into my transition. I am Saint and I'm 3 months into my transition. So 3 months in, we're at 3 months. You know what they say, usually at 3 months, things can become, more of a routine, a habit. That's exactly what this month's update is about, is really finding a routine. Being at month 3, you become more familiar with, the ins and outs of the day. This shot every week has now become something that you're still looking forward to, but it's just part of the day now. It's a part of the Thursday morning. You're really getting accustomed to what life is like living as trans. Do I like the bun? I'm having a really hard time just doing this video today. I found that during these 3 months, and because it is so much of my life, it is my life now, it really hit me quickly that I can't keep juggling two different in one area. So for me, work, I'm not completely out there. I'm hardly out there. A few people know, but most don't. And then so I've been finding that that's causing more harm than good. It's actually forcing me to expend more energy than I should in an area that, this is my life, this is my reality, this is who I am, this thing that's now become more of a routine, more of an everyday practice, more of a, part of my everyday flow. And so you're not in your head as much about it, but then in this other area, you're still kind of living this past life and having to keep up this other person that doesn't really exist. So I've really found that I need to kind of take that big step. And I knew this was gonna happen. I knew that when I first started, I knew I was giving myself a buffer at work for the changes to start taking effect slowly. And once they did, then I would go forward and kind of go through the process of letting them know what's going on with me. And I think I've just hit that point now. After 3 months, I think we're just here where it's causing more energy. It's wasting more of my energy than I can allow for at this point, because I end up having to continue on this other person, with different pronouns and different everything, different name, different being, different voice. It's come to that point where I really just need to go ahead and come out. And it's not that I'm ashamed of who I am, because I love who I am, but it's more about, like I said again last month, having to then be on alert for questions that are going to come my way, conversations, extra things that I don't really want to give out to just anyone in that environment. But now that I said, so you things are becoming you're more accustomed to it. You understand, the different parts of, what's this new piece of your life that's now joining with the rest. You found your ground, right? You found your footing, at least on this beginning phase. And so how do you make it easier on yourself to then just work that in? So for me, it's been this month's been about routine and finding a routine that works for me and that allows me to still stay connected and get through it and stay strong. Because, it's like I said, if you're not out at work, having to be really strong to get through that and be in the public eye and know that changes are happening, but still you're not sure if they're going to ask you. You don't know what's going to happen. They don't know, but then you're sure they do know. You can pick up on things you don't know if they're. So you start to think about all the things you don't need to be wasting your time on. So because of that, by the time I get home, I really then find time. That's when I've been going to the gym, have my dinner, take a shower. The shower's been the best time to kind of just wash off the whole day of all the stuff that I had to take and just everything that you went through. That might have been troubling for that day. Just washing that off, and it's a moment of vulnerability and just peace with yourself. Being home in your own comfort zone and just being able to recharge and connect with yourself and understand more of what's going on, and then get ready to recharge and rest up for the next day to get back to it. And then I have a facial routine that I'm getting into just so I can try to make sure that the acne doesn't flare up and just health routine in general. Just like finding those things that I might have stopped caring about just because I was like, going through the motions really with certain things, little things like facial routines or brushing your teeth at night, flossing every day, taking care of your eyebrows, making sure that you look presentable like you want to, like getting your hair done. Like I hadn't gotten my hair cut in forever, and so I just had a day of doing all of that and just making sure I'm more mindful in how I'm living in each day. Now that it's like I feel like I'm starting over, it feels like you have this fresh start. So making sure that you're doing the right things and actually being present in life in the moments that you're living them in. So I do my facial routine, brush my teeth, floss, it's really just kind of like, and it gives me time when I'm doing that to like really look in the mirror and just like see, just different things I might not notice, just really having fun and just like looking at yourself, and you can tell more hairs that might be coming in, or whatever it is, the structure changing, you're slimming out, different, anything. You get that time with yourself to just kind of be up close and personal in the mirror. If you're ever wondering what I'm doing, I'm probably in the mirror looking at the hairs coming in. Still, it's one of my favorite things. Just, having some tea, finding a way to unwind again, like relax and calm and soothe, and, whatever it is, spend time with your partner, spend time doing anything that you like, and that gives you a break. Another frustrating thing about this month, or another work thing, we had open enrollment, so I had to switch up my insurance, and while I have the same company, still have Cigna, I had a different plan, and that caused a lot of problems with the pharmacist. And then later on with something else that I had that I'll talk about, which was top surgery consultation. So what happened was I was trying to renew my testosterone prescription from like a week in advance from before this happened. And at first they said, oh, to get a refill, we need another note from your doctor. So I was like, okay. So they requested a note from my doctor. They tried to fill it. Then it says, your insurance isn't covering this. And I was like, great, here we go again. Like literally they just got a letter 3 months ago when I first started this that they denied it back then. They denied it 3 months ago. But they got a letter saying, yes, this is for TransCare. They cleared it. To me, when it's still the same company, you would think that they would just have that letter still, or they on my file, like, oh, this is the same. Yes, needs TransCare on HRT for testosterone. Yeah, we're going to clear that again. Go ahead, get it. Instead of that happening, they deny it again, which means I then have to write my doctor, which then means I need to wait and try to see, like, okay, can you put another appeal in, and then wait for that appeal to happen, and wait for the company to respond to the appeal, and then respond to the pharmacist, which then responds to me to let me know if I'm going to get it again or I'm not. And I could have just paid for it, but again, it's not like the point of the matter is like my insurance should be covering, so I needed to go and wait through that whole process. Luckily, the doctor that I have, I use One Medical, and they literally are amazing. Like they have an app that I rely on, really, where you can message your doctor, message their assistants 24/7, and they're really quick at responding. Like me being at work and not really having the flexibility to like really handle these things as I would want to, like full on, I can only have quick moments where I can do certain things, or I can take a phone call, or I can do this. But being able to just write a quick message in between meetings or whatever it is on the app has really helped me out so much. Like I rely on that to communicate. So that saved me in that. And so I was able to get the clearance again, and they got the approval through the end of 2020 or something like that. So I'm covered, but it's annoying. Also, the thing with the insurance. So I had top surgery consultation on the 7th of this month. By the time that I had the appointment, they put in the request to my insurance to see how much they're going to cover. By the time that happened and they sent that out, now I have a new insurance again, where I need to again change that on file. But now that 2 weeks have happened since that, now sets me back a couple of weeks from when the approval was sent over. So now I need to wait another 2 or 3 weeks for them to restart the process and see if my insurance is going to cover, how much they're going to cover for my top surgery, which sucks. But I'm glad I caught it when I did, and it wasn't sort of like, oh, they denied it and then having to start in a month from now. So about the top surgery consultation though, it was on the 7th of the month, and it went well. Like at first I was worried because they called me the day before to say, hey, tomorrow's your appointment. Are you ready? Just want to make sure you're confirming. And I was like, yes. And they're like, want to make sure you're confirming for your virtual consultation. And I was like, virtual? Like I live right in the Bay Area. Like I can get to San Francisco easy. I work in San Francisco. Like I can go in person. It was a virtual, whatever mishap happened. I don't know if that was on me or what. It was okay. It went just as it would anyway if I were in person. Ultimately, what came out of it was they asked what I expect for my chest, what do I expect it to look like, and really for me it's a cis male, completely flat, healing well. For me, that's a big part of it is that, in my family, keloids run in my family, and so I'm just worried that, about the scarring, and so I talked a lot about that, things that we can do afterwards to make sure that, it's as minimal as possible if I do get any, and yeah, just feels like I'm in a great condition for my body. It's healthy, that surgery should go fine, and that there's no worries, and that pain shouldn't be too bad afterwards. It's not really a high pain surgery during recovery. So that was good to have. But then the part that I'm better with it now. Like I'm cool with it. But back then, when I first found out, was that they don't really have any appointments until so they have to send out the request to the insurance to find out how much they're going to pay. You have to wait for the insurance to get back to me, and then they can start the scheduling process. But they're already booked out up until the end of this year, December, basically. So I wouldn't have an appointment until January 2020, which was putting me out at 5 months at the time. And that was hitting me kind of hard because it was like, all right, 5 more months having chest. I really don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm tired of putting on a binder every day, taking off a binder, seeing them there. It was such a weight on me that I just can't wait for it to be removed. That's one of the main things that I really need, is those removed. But it's looking like January right now. They're trying to open up some more appointments, and so hopefully we'll be able to speed it up, and maybe it won't be in January, but right now that's what it's looking like. But I've come to terms with that, and that's okay, because I've gone 31 years. What's another 5 months? So other things that happened. Oh, going back to the routine. I wanted to make sure that all of the stuff that I need for doing my T-shot every Thursday is like in its area, all lined up. I have all the supply I could need. I don't need to worry about going to CVS and back. Like, I was so frustrated after that. I was like, I don't want to ever come back here. Don't want to have to come back here more than I need to. I went ahead and got everything in bulk. So both needle sizes and the syringe, I got that in bulk. And I was also able to get the better size of needles that I was supposed to have. Like originally when my doctor put the prescription in, it was for a 23 gauge needle for shooting in the leg. They only had 22, which is a little bit bigger actually, in stock. So this month, now that I was able to re-up on everything, they were able to order it for me since I had so much time to kill. They ordered the right one. I have the 23s now. So this is how much I have of each. So I got them both in 100 sizes. So the pink one is the one you used to draw at 18, and this teal one is what you use to shoot at 23. I have 100 syringes. So with all of that, I'm good for I don't know. It was I did the math. It was up until 2021 pretty much. Which is cool. What else happened? So yeah, my top surgery. So about the top surgery, this time last year, I started, I was really upset about my chest, and I always have been, but especially last year, I was like, I'm going to do something about it this time. I was like, what, let's just go see if I can get a reduction. So I started the process for the reduction, and I was actually supposed to have that in October, but the insurance denied it at that time. This is October of 2018, and I was like, maybe I'll just come out of pocket for it. And I was like, what, maybe that's just, I don't really want to do that. It just wasn't aligning. And I was like, believer in energy, and it just wasn't. If it's not there, I'm not gonna force it. I know that my time will come when it's right. It'll happen. It'll align when it should. At that moment, it wasn't supposed to. Flash forward now to 2019, May. well, right now August, but back in May when I'm like, you know what, I'm really happy I never had that breast reduction because it should have been a complete removal, and that's why it wasn't aligning back then, because it wasn't the right thing for me. And now I'm able to have the right thing. I'm happy that just I didn't get that, because then I would either have to go for another surgery paying more, or just, I don't know what might have happened, but either way, happy that I never had the breast reduction and that I will be able to have top surgery in January or maybe before. Yeah, kind of on the same lines of top surgery, I was always thinking that I would save up my PTO or my sick time off or paid leave or whatever it is, medical leave, for when I was having top surgery. And I think before I found out that it wasn't going to be until likely January, I was thinking that it might be within the next 2 months. I was thinking that I would save up, I was going to use that time for top surgery, but I never really thought of it as, maybe taking time away just to get acquainted with the reality of transitioning and how do you orient yourself to that in life. I really wish that I had taken time for that, and I started to feel like I wanted to take time now. And actually, the thing that comes up into my mind the most, those are the things that you should always listen to. Even if it's something you don't want to hear, we try to push it away because it's like, oh, this thing is resounding, it's coming back. No matter what I do, I'm coming back to the same thing. And sometimes we try to push that away. And I was kind of doing that with a couple of things this month, but most importantly with taking a break, a hiatus, a leave of absence. Leave of absence came to my mind many days this month. Many days where I was just like, you know what? I just have something so much more important to be doing than sitting in this office. Not that I wasn't committed, because you'll never know what's really going on with me. I don't really take breaks. I don't go on vacations often. I don't take paid time off. Like, I just go to work. That's just what I do. For one, I need a break as a human, and two, for this, I feel like that's just continually coming to my mind. So I'm either going to take a vacation, or I'm going to have to understand what it's like to go through the process of trying to get the break at work. There are just times where, while it was becoming a routine up until this point, don't get me wrong, when I say a routine up until this point at 3 months, it does not mean that like this I'm good for the rest of the way, because this is just the beginning, literally just the beginning, and I have so many things that will be coming up, and which is also why I feel like I need a break. Even saying it, I'm like, you don't need a break, you're good, get through it. Yeah, just admitting I have to be truthful with myself. If I need something, that's what I need. And so when certain things start happening this month, I've done this thing where I just take a walk. I go outside, I literally get outdoors to the fresh air, the sun, the wind, a waterfall or some type of water if I can, and just exist. It allows me to feel everything that's raw and that's in that moment, without trying to block it out. Taking a walk is like I'm allowing myself to feel every feeling that's going to come without trying to manipulate it or push it away or change it. And that's important for us to feel everything the way that it's meant to be felt in those moments at the time that the feeling comes, because that's part of growing and that's part of understanding and learning and being a human. So with just all the feelings that you get that just are just piling on, just the highs and the lows and just everything just hitting you, the culmination of everything, right? Sometimes I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I need to cry. Like, I just got to get this out. Like, break down for a second. I can't. It just doesn't happen. I don't usually cry anyway. Like, it would take a lot for me to cry in my whole life up until now. But now it's like literally can't cry, just within me, there's just some type of blocker, right? Like, I can't. Sometimes when I'm laughing really hard, like a couple of tears will come out, which used to be more tears, but like sometimes it'll get wet and like a little, like from laughing too hard. But in terms of like crying just emotionally because you're having a hard day, it doesn't come. That's just been, I know I've heard of that before, but experiencing it is really something different. Definitely. Yeah, I feel like So much of it was kind of looking forward a lot. And this month has been about like living in the moment, living in the present. Since the changes are gradual, I've been finding that I want to just do something that's more drastic, that allows me to feel something more now, like something more of a complete shift. Like start the process to get my name changed on my ID, or the sex on the ID to male or something, you know, making sure that people are using my name, because it is a long road towards the changes that we expect. Like when I'm more passing, that's going to be time. But so like, what can I do in the now? Like what can I do myself? What do I have control over? You know, those things I can't control. I can't control those physical things that'll happen. I can't control those, you know, what happens later on, months and months in advance from here. So what I can control is right now. What will help me feel more connected to myself? If I can't remove my breast, what can I do? Yeah, I'm still buying it. Cool. What type of shirts am I wearing? Is it, you know, changing up the hair? Like for me, I'm having a hard time with the length of my hair. Like it's super long. I think when I started growing these, I never really had a set length that I was expecting, but right now to me, they're just long for what I feel I want as a male. So is it trimming my locks? Is it cutting my locks? You know, what is it that's different? You know, something that's bigger than just, you know, this same kind of way I'm presenting right now. Just really thinking about that. So setting my intention for next month is to really just find out what's that like, that feng shui, like changing the energy, the shift, like what's that moment for me? What's that big dramatic like turn of where I have the control, the reins in my hands to say like, no, like just doing something different, you know, making it more of a thing. So in terms of other changes, you know, obviously my voice is still going to be dropping. You might not hear as much of a difference from the last month's video because I shot it so late, and this one I'm shooting a little bit early. Facial hair still growing in. I really, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm probably in the mirror looking at that. Spend a lot of time in the mirror. It's great to just look and reflect and sort of look at yourself. Let's see, what else has been different? So my appetite has been crazy. Like I usually don't eat a lot at one time. I eat enough throughout the day. I eat all the portions and, you know, hit my macros and all that kind of stuff that you're supposed to, but like I can't eat a lot at one time. But now I cannot stop eating. Like I'm always hungry and I eat whole meals of stuff. It's crazy. My appetite is being off the scale. Another thing with that, making sure that I'm eating well, I'm eating clean most of, like all the time as I can. Hitting the gym, and so pairing clean eating with a good workout routine, start to gain the muscle mass. So I'm seeing that my body structure is still changing. I can tell that like I'm taking up more space physically. I'm wider, more bulky. My legs are thickening up. Like my socks are like almost cutting off some of the circulation to the rest of my leg. Like when I take my sock off, I can see a difference. And also when I'm laying down, like it's kind of uncomfortable to lay down now because of the more structure and the muscle toning up. Like you lay a certain way, it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable. My body didn't feel like this before. It's like, no, literally, it really didn't. It wasn't this before. So yeah, you're feeling a different way to lay down. And then it's also been kind of harder to go to sleep. I've been having insomnia, so that's been a thing. But then once I am asleep, I'm like out. I think that's it. My camera's gonna die because I did a lot of messing around before this even started because I just didn't like anything that was happening. Dysphoria. Thank you guys for being here again. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know that you're out there. Until next time, I'll see you. Life is love. Love is life. And you are loved.